thing that I love about New York is that, and you probably take it for granted because you live here, because when I lived here, I didn't see it the way I see it now. And also, I've had time, many years, 15 years, oh God, being in LA, to have a different experience, which is basically all about not being in conflict, because people in LA can get in their cars, roll up their windows, and drive away. Just drive away. And in New York, you're constantly dealing with it, right? Even if you're not in it, you can observe it. You're a passerby. You can see it through a window. I mean, you're like, there's stuff that happens. It's humanity in all its form. And I was thinking about what is the nature of theater today and over the weekend, because I went and saw stuff and the stuff we were doing this weekend. And I was saying how yesterday I was coming to class, and it was a really kind of a surreal experience where I'm staying in Midtown. I was coming up like, I don't know, in the 40s or something, and there was a homeless person. I assumed he was a homeless person. I shouldn't assume anything, but definitely, so I'm going to make some assumptions here. I thought he was on bath salts. That's what I really thought. I mean, I don't know if that's popular here, but that's a problem in like the Midwest. So anyway, this guy came raging toward me, and he had on what I thought was a homeless getup, and there was, on the ledge, there was like some cups or something, and he was like, as close to me as Vanessa is right now, and he slammed whatever was on the ledge, and he kept walking toward me, and I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, this is the end. I really did, because you didn't know what was under his gabardine. It could have been a knife, right? That's also the danger of living in New York. It can be scary, right? And listen, I have great compassion, even though we're having fun. I also have compassion that he could be, in need of medicine, or he could be mentally challenged. He could be schizophrenic. So there's a lot of variables going on. So that happened, and he walked by me. So I kept walking, and then I just was thinking for quite a few blocks about that person. Where does he come from? What's his story? What happened to him? By grace, I'm not that person. Then somehow I cut over, and so I'm very close to being close to the studio now. I'm like, 34th Street, 33rd Street, and a guy comes flying past me, and traffic is going, everybody is stopped at the stoplight, and the traffic is going, and it's the same guy, and he's dodging and weaving inside the cars. You probably have seen people who are cracked out who do that, right? And there's honking up, and he missed like a bumper by that much, and I'm like, ah, my God, right? And it was just so weird and scary, and how did he not get hit? And he made his way across the way, and then the light changed, and so I started to follow him, and then he picked something up off the ground. And I was saying this weekend, I thought it was a knife. So I quickened my pace. I was like, what's going to happen? This is like a crazy, dramatic, unfolding story. And so I got really again close behind him. And then weirdly enough, he turned down 32nd Street. And I was like, he's following me to the studio. Even though he was in front of me, so that couldn't have been happening. And weirdly enough, I got close enough to see what he had picked up on the ground was a feather. Look, my heart just kind of like, oh God, I'm totally going to start crying. It was such an amazing moment to me, because here is a guy who is like living in a depraved state. And I don't mean that in a judgmental way. He's living rough. And yet he has some sort of conscious awareness to see something that represented something to him in the moment. Mythical or hopeful or nature or God or the divine. And he picked it up. And then later on, he put it on his hat. Kids, that to me is theater. It doesn't get any better than that. And your relationship with it, because we're participating in it, is how do you become more conscious of non-judgmentally observing it. And I was saying this weekend, you have to start getting curious about life around you. Not just about acting. It's just not about acting. I think acting, I keep saying, is quite dull and uninteresting to me. But what is interesting is seeing human beings working through their stuff. Now, this is an extreme example, but I found it to be so beautiful because it touched on all the things that we go to the theater, or we go to the movies, or we watch really good TV episodic shows unfold, which is danger and heart and pathos and compassion and fear and divinity and the mystery of being alive and things that can go tragically wrong in an instant. That's your life. That's our lives. So I don't know if there is a point to this. I think, to me, it's stayed with me, and I've been thinking about it. I will never probably see that man again. And look at how much it's touched me. That is the power of theater. That's the power of being alive. That's actually the power of why you want to act. There's the point. You want to act because you're wanting to touch somebody deeply in what feels like oftentimes it's an artificial circumstance. But if you're really going for it in a real way, it's not going to be artificial. That's the power we wield as storytellers. So I just think it's so valuable and very interesting. And one of my favorite quotes, a Picasso quote, where he says that art is the lie that makes us tell the truth. And if you are really living your work as truthfully as you can, even though we understand that the setup is somewhat fictionalized, it's artificial, it's acting, it's a play, it's a movie, but you're really towing the line moment to moment, it becomes truth. We process it as truth. And that's what the intensive was about, that's what all the classes are about, that's what the teachers are about, and it doesn't mean that we're going to do it all the time, but if we can get 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 moments of truth, that's the experience we're after. Brad Pitt talks about what we're really going for is moments of truth. That's what you're going for.